history brush and the art history brush are two more tools that I rarely ever use, but let me show you what they do. So I'm going to choose the history brush. Now in order to talk about history, let's look at the history panel. I'll pull it off and open it up. So the history panel keeps track of the steps that we've done in a document, and we can go back through those steps and go to a previous state. So I'm just going to demonstrate a couple things here. I'll just take the brush tool. I'm just going to take a general brush. Let's make it a little bit softer, make it a little bit larger. And I'll take just some blue paint, and I'm just going to paint on my image here. And then I'll take some magenta paint, and let's do a couple more things here. And what you'll notice is as I've gone through and added more paint, it's keeping track of what's happening in my document with each step. And I can go back to a previous step. That's going to get rid of the magenta. The next step back will get rid of that additional blue mark I made at the top, and then I'm back to opening the original document. I can come back in and see all the steps again. Then I'll do an image adjustment. I'm going to make this, let's say, black and white. And I'm going to take the history brush. So with the history brush tool, I can paint back to a saved state. Now in this case, it's going to be the document having been opened. And in the history, there are some little boxes on the left-hand side. The history brush icon is listed here at the top, and that's from the document just having been opened. I can do the same thing by clicking the box in front of open. And if I now paint with the history brush, notice that I'm going back to that state of the document having been opened. I'm going to go back to my black and white state. And now let's change the saved state to that last brush tool. And if I now paint, I'm going back to that state. That's what the history brush tool does. It allows us to go back to a marked state in the history panel or in the steps of our work. Let me demonstrate a cool use of the history brush that I saw Scott Kelby do probably 20 years ago to create a motivational poster. So I've got this picture of an F-18. I want the sky to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go to the image menu, choose adjustments, hue and saturation. I'm going to bring the saturation up a little bit to make that sky a little bit more blue. If you go too much, it's going to get this rasterized look. We don't want to do that, so about there is sort of the maximum limit. All right, now what I'm going to do is simply select everything. I'm going to do a Control A on the keyboard. Go to the Edit menu and choose Fill. I'm going to fill with white at 100%, and my image has now disappeared. We're going to bring that image back within the white by using the history brush. So we'll go to the history brush, and I'm going to bring up the brush settings. And in the brush settings, I'm going to choose this brush tip. It's 112. And I'm going to add a little bit of some shape dynamics and some scattering to it. You can kind of see the result here. It's going to give us kind of a dragged edge on each end. Let me move my history panel over so it's out of the way. I'll increase my brush size a little bit. And I'm just going to drag through and reveal the jet underneath the white. That looks pretty good. I might just get a little bit of a softer edge here on the bottom just by stamping a little bit, do a little bit of that at the top as well. I'm going to take the text tool, I'm going to get a blue. In fact, I'm going to sample this blue right here, that brighter blue in the insignia on the jet itself. And I've already pasted some text on my clipboard. I'm just going to paste it in. We could type that in, but there is our motivational poster, Don't Think, Just Do, by Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. The art history brush allows us to modify an image as if we were painting it by using some brush presets. So we can choose a brush size. I've got mine preset here to 58 pixels and hardness about 48%, about halfway. And there's some modes here. I'm going to leave it at normal. What I want to focus on here is two things. The style. There's a bunch of styles here. The only one that I really like is the dab. And then an area of how much is it going to pull in from. My brush is 58, so pretty close together. I'm going to start in the shirt here. I'll start down at the bottom. And as I brush over this, it's going to take the image and mix those colors together as if these were painted. Now I'm focusing on the gondolier here. We'll eventually do the entire document. So it's just a nice artistic effect. And rather than watch me do this throughout the document, let me just show you the final version. So that's what you can do with the art history brush. There's the original, and there is the final version of the art history brush done on the entire document. If you'd like to see more videos in the Photoshop Practicum playlist, click the title at the bottom. If you'd like to be alerted to new videos, please click my photo in the top right to subscribe to the channel.